What is going on, everybody? I'm Bobby Fi. Welcome to the BetQL / RotoQL show here on QL TV. We really appreciate you guys tuning in today. We're going to talk some BetQL, talk some RotoQL. We're going to talk some DFS. We're going to talk some straight up sports bets. And we're going to have a good one. I want to start off real quickly just addressing yesterday. We had some really good calls. BetQL especially has been absolutely on fire with their calls. I mean, everything since the All-Star break has been just straight fire. 18-4 on 3, 4, and 5-star NBA points on spread bets. We went over a little bit of that stuff yesterday. Go right now to betql.co and enter the code BobbyFi for 30% off your first month. Because we can only cover one game each day, and we usually can't cover the 3, 4, and 5-star spreads because that's sort of what people are paying for. This is a really, really great betting tool, and it won me some money yesterday. I was heavy on the Clippers giving the points and also the under in that game. So that was a nice little one I hit. I also played them together a little bit, so I made some money. We're a little bit off on the BetQL site for the 76ers yesterday. It happens. It was really a tough game, you know. It's they lost Embiid. We can predict that, obviously. I didn't want to bet that one. I did like the over in it, which didn't hit, but I certainly was not the best one. But we weren't very strong on it. We sort of had a similar feeling. It was between 1 and 2 stars most of the day here on BetQL. I actually have the Sixers. It's oddly enough our free game of the day again today. Again favoring the Sixers, but this time they're at home, and we know that the home is a totally different Sixers team. So we're going to get into all that stuff. We're going to talk about some DFS. I want you to, again, please say hi, say what's up in chat, ask some questions. You know me, I like to go back and forth. I like really having you guys make it more of an interactive show because I'm used to doing shows with other people. And it's also a lot more fun when we get the QQs going, we get some back and forth, we get some different takes. That's what I'm here for. That's what we're here for. And we're going to talk to you about all the great things BetQL, RotoQL has to offer. But mainly, we want to help you all make money, and that's what we're here to do. So let's do it. Abrasive's in the chat. Yo, what's up, man? Really appreciate you coming and checking it out. Abrasive's great, man. He's a good player, and he's been around with me for a while, like he always is. Pretty much following us, and we appreciate that. Guys, please, before I forget, don't forget to give us the like, the thumbs up. Really means a lot to us. We appreciate it, and for right now, we're just giving away this free content, and if you could just ask that one favor from you guys, we would appreciate if you guys would give us the like, the thumbs up. Really means a lot to us. Anyway, going to move on with a couple other things that we noted. I want to just point out BetQL's XFL product has now launched, and it's completely free. It's only a limited time, so you better hurry up and get in there. I don't know exactly when the date ends, but let's just pretend it's tomorrow. Get in there and get it for free. You can check out the public betting line movement, game previews, written analysis, live odds, pretty much anything you would get from a full coverage sports betting site like BetQL, and definitely one of the best, if not the best in the industry. So want to make sure you check that out right away. And people aren't offering this much detail on a lot of this XFL stuff, and you can get that product for free right now. Again, if you do want to just join, go to betql.co and enter code BobbyFi for 30% off your first month. And get things rolling because we're doing these free shows here, but I can only give you away so much of the information. Unfortunately, there's a lot of really good stuff behind the paywall that I cannot. Eric, what's up? Eric saying hi in chat. What's up, Eric? How you doing? MJ, how you doing, man? Yeah, good to see some of the regulars back in. I'm glad everybody's tuning in. Are the Lakers the safest bet on the slate? Interesting question. We'll get into just the overall games. You have the Lakers here as a 10-point favorite. I don't like road double-digit favorites, especially when you're missing your best player in the modern-day NBA. Sure, it could happen. It's just not something I'm going to ever advise betting straight up one team to win. There's just too many three-pointers to be had. I actually think that game may stay a little closer. If there was one game I'd be a little bit heavier on, the Thunder and the Kings is sort of standing out, especially because De'Aaron Fox is now questionable. That would be a game that I would point out. Again, I can't give you the BetQL information on that right now, but I can give you the BetQL information on the Knicks and Sixers because I really like the Sixers in this one also. I think they cover easily, and I like them quite a bit. Let's see what else we got. Oscar in the chat. What's up, Oscar? How you doing, man? Good to have you back. You're not a bettor, but going to give it a shot. Give it a shot, man. I'm telling you, it's easy stuff. And you know what? If I'm wrong, come in and blame me the next day. I'm happy to hear it. For those of you guys I was wrong about yesterday, please come and get after me. I'm totally cool with that. Anyway, want to talk about a couple other things real quick. I know you guys like to see some of my DFS lineups. I'm going to show you some mock lineups to start the day. It's kind of a tough DFS slate with just the 4 games. I'm trying to find a way to fade Rondo. Wanted to point out real quick just that one of the things that I'm considering doing a little bit more than I've got so far is actually I'm going to try and get Caruso into some lineups. we don't know that Rondo's even going to be starting, and we're treating it like he's a lock. Now, he probably is a virtual lock, but I'm just looking for pivots to get creative on a 4-game slate. And obviously, on a big slate, Podol is the big killer of everything yesterday, all because he didn't end up starting. As we talked about how you can play not big against Dallas. Unfortunately, I didn't put my money enough where my mouth was. I didn't fade enough Podol to have a big night, but certainly had the right logic on that one. And this is another one of those kind of spots where maybe Caruso ends up getting just as many minutes as Rondo and outproduces him. And actually, maybe he gets a lot more minutes. That's extremely on the table. Just because the projections have him off by 10 minutes doesn't mean they're right. This is a very fluid situation. A lot of things could happen. So anyway, if you guys want to screenshot it, these are my early 3 big lineups on DraftKings. Sure, a lot of information to wait on. Things are going to change. You can sort of see the routes that I'm going. Don't love playing as much Horford as I am, things like that. But it's just sort of where I'm at right now. We're going to figure out where to go later on because it's hard to make that commitment without having that Fox news because I do think that changes things. Offering that other minimum cost point guard could really change the way you approach the slate. And in a funny way, we already have too much money to spend. Over on FanDuel, where I'm going to bring up real quick, I want to just point out that on FanDuel, it's a little bit different. You have to get different in certain – just try and win different positions differently. So you can see what I try to do early on with my builds, trying to play – Oladipo and Hield as the pivot off of the super chalk at shooting guard. Now, it makes me nervous. I'm a big McCollum guy, and he gets his opportunity finally, which he never really has had to show off and prove that he really is better than Trae Young. But you can see right here, I'm trying to fade that situation and go a little bit more chalky the rest of my lineup, but with a couple different pivots. But Oladipo and Hield I expect to be lower owned than they should be. Even if Fox is out, I know Hield will get more ownership, but I don't know if we'll have that information before lock, so it's interesting. Just to speculate. So that's where I'm at early with those. Want to get back to some BetQL information as well as some trends from BetQL tonight. Some of the inside information I have been given the green light to go ahead on. I'm going to get to that right after I answer a few more questions. Going to say what's up to K9 Bronco. Really good to have you here. Joe, really good to have you around, man. I was wondering where you were. I don't think I saw you yesterday. Glad you guys are here to say what's up. Oscar's, we're on the same boat, fading lineups, scared of the Rondo's upside. Oscar, absolutely. If Rondo does his thing and gets all the minutes, we're dead. We are dead in the water. I'm going to have Rondo. I'm just going to end up with less than the field of him overall. Not playing a ton of lineups because I have another show I have to do at 6 Eastern time. So I'm not going to be able to mass edit. So that's one of the issues there. But anyway, that's where I'm at. Guys, make sure to get some questions in. Tell me how you're doing. Tell me what you're thinking for both regular straight sports bets and for DFS in general. I'm going to jump back over to the BetQL page and get into it a little bit. I want to talk to you about some of the things that you see here. Well, look, you see that one of the trends overview, the Knicks 9-1 when playing against a good team, winning percentage of 60-70% this season. I'm guessing that's against the spread. That's actually kind of shocking. Wouldn't have thought that. Now, obviously, you see right here that we are heavier on the Sixers than we are on the Knicks, obviously. It's only a 2-star rating. I feel even more comfortable with this, but I'm not the one who makes all these odds. This is BetQL, so trust them. But like them, I also agree the Sixers are going to win this game, in my opinion, by more than 6.5 points. I think it might stay close for a while, but I do like the Sixers sort of to pull away at the end, even with their limited beat-up roster. They still have a lot of good bodies deep on that team, and I just think that they beat the Knicks. Both teams on back-to-backs should be a tough road one for the Knicks. Interesting for DFS purposes. We can get into that in a little bit, but for right now, I want to stick with the sports betting aspect of this. Let's see what the public thinks on this game. See, again, wish I could give it to you for all the games. Can't do it because it's behind the paywall. But the Knicks, 64% of the public money going on the Knicks. Obviously, that means the Sharps are going to be on the Knicks as well. We're going to take a quick look at what the Sharps are on. 15% edge there to the Knicks. You see that's where the money is going. That's where I would put my money as well. That's the way that I would bet if I was betting on this game. Still not 100% sure I'm going to, but this actually is, to me, a game I like quite a bit. So I probably will get, maybe $100 on it or something. Not going to go crazy with it, but I think somewhere around there sounds good to me. I love this question from Abrasive. Kuzma or Horford? Obviously, they're different prices on FanDuel. It's an interesting situation because obviously Horford's the much better play. Kuzma is just an interesting speculative play. You don't really need the savings. I actually am sort of you can fade both of them, but Horford is obviously the better play. I like Kuzma as a long shot tournament play. I don't think I would play him in my 562, my 555 or whatever, but I would definitely play him in one of the smaller buy-ins, larger field GPPs. Couple things. Joe was at work yesterday. Sorry about that. Hate that, man. Get out of work for our show. At least when our show's on, you can get out of work for that one. That was one moment. Love. Uh, Eric says from Buddy Hield from OKC. Yeah, Buddy Hield play. He's not from OKC, but he did play. He's Jamaican, but he did play at Oklahoma. And last time he was there, took 24 shots. Was 9 for 24 from the floor. Really interesting thing that I picked up on earlier today. That we said last time we sort of missed out on his little mini revenge narrative. It's not really revenge, but you love to play in front of it. He's probably got 50 to 100 tickets for friends and family, people from the university even going to be there. Let's play some Buddy Hield tonight. Why not? I think it's a great play. Even if Fox plays, I think he's a great tournament play. And honestly, the way things are shaking out, he might not be that owned even if we get the word that Fox is out. And if we don't get the word, I would encourage you to be very heavy on him, because if Fox is out, we are going to be leveraging ourselves against the field because they're not going to be able to make that play, especially on FanDuel where it's early lock, obviously. Let's see. Oscar wants to know, taking on stacking games. If so, which one do I like for DFS? Okay, so my take on stacking games. I do like stacking games when it works. If I had a favorite to pick from tonight, I think it would be OKC and the Thunder on FanDuel. And the Blazers and Pacers would be a stack and pray. That's the game I worry about getting the most out of hand. I actually would lean the Blazers with the spread, even though I would rather the Blazers -10 than the Lakers -10. Pacers at home, fully healthy. I worry about the Pacers being able to stay close. Now, if they do, I'm going to probably lose some money at DFS tonight because I'm trying to fade guys like McCollum and Whiteside at crazy high ownership and trying to play a little bit more of these other games, getting a little bit of exposure to guys like Randall in the Sixers game as a run back to some of those guys as a pivot. Anyway, I want to get back to the BetQL stuff in a minute, but I do want to answer all your questions because that's also what we're here for. Cody Mayfield, what's up, man? He wants to know, playing one lineup on FanDuel, how many chalk tonight? You can go chalk with a lot of them. It depends on how much you're going off the chalk with the other. As I showed earlier on my FanDuel lineup, I was playing in my shooting guard spots the Oladipo and Hield combination, which I just feel like is going to be incredibly low owned compared to so many great options at the position today. So that's one way of getting different that I don't mind playing chalk, and you just want to get that crazy different with two less than 10 percenters. Now, Hield's ownership is probably going to rise because if we do get news on Fox, but even still, I think that's a good combination. There's a lot on FanDuel, a lot of value. That shooting guard position is where you want to be different. I think you eat the chalk at point guard, small forward, and then power forward. You can rotate between and center. Power forward and shooting guard is where I'd like to be different on FanDuel. If game stacking, the max number of players I would take from that game on this slate 6 or 7. On most slates, less. But on this slate, I think you can go that many because you're trying to get different. You're trying to do something and hammer one game. If it goes into overtime or stays close down the stretch, you're going to get a lot more usage from your guys. That's what you're trying to play for. And on a slate like this, where every game could hypothetically blow out, and like more so than most slates, I think that you're looking to try and get that one that if it does stay close. I mean, look, I think the Thunder are scary that they could win this game easily. But I also think if Fox does play especially, I mean, the Kings have weapons. So it's an interesting spot. One other guy I wanted to mention it, just in that game, long shot play for GPPs, Alex Len. He's 3,300, and he matches up with the size of Adams, and no one's going to play him. And I think that there is a chance that he ends up getting minutes tonight. Long shot play, but definitely one I'm looking at. Going to answer a few more questions before we get back to the BetQL information because I want to answer everything. Let's see. Okay, taking on site. I think I might be there. K9 Bronco says that he finds himself playing 80 and Kuzma together on FanDuel. I like it. I think it's a good way to get different. I don't think people are going to do that very much. I don't think Kuzma's going to get the ownership. He's a speculative play. I want to make it clear. He might just play 22 minutes, but he might play 32 minutes. I mean, we don't know. The Lakers don't exactly know with their current roster, the way it's constructed. Markieff Morris is also kind of an interesting, more on DraftKings of a play, I think, than FanDuel, but he's kind of an interesting off-the-board play that we could talk about. Guys, I'm going to get back into some of the other recent trends that we've noted here at BetQL. Again, want to remind you though that the XFL product is free, so get on over there. And since the All-Star break, the BetQL model 18-4 on 3, 4, and 5 spread games. I believe that's around 82%. So 82%. Let me just do a little math for you guys. If you're not familiar with math, if you're winning 82% of the time, you're doing good. So just wanted to clear that one up. We're going to get into some of today's trends. The Sixers are 27-2 at home and 18-9 against the spread. They're 9-21 straight up and 10-19 against the spread on the road. They lost to the Cavs last night. Again, one of those games I said to lay on because I did not trust that they would win. They are now 7 in a row on the road, but they are a different team at home. This is a different animal. They're playing a bad Knicks squad. I like the Sixers minus 6.5. I like them obviously straight up, but you're not going to get much money for that. I think the Sixers are a really solid bet tonight, and you can see that's where we're leaning with our one featured game of the day that we're allowed to give away. It's not our featured game. I keep saying that, but it's our free game of the day. Unfortunately, the featured games are behind the paywall because people are paying good money for this, so it wouldn't be fair to them. But you guys can do the same thing by getting over to betql.co, entering the code BobbyFi for 30% off your first month. And if it doesn't work for you, you can come blame me. You can hate on me on Twitter. You can come into chat just to provoke me. It's fine with me. I am here to try and make you guys money. This is one of the things I'm telling you to do. All right. Does the BetQL content help with DFS? Well, that's an interesting question, and here's what really helps with DFS. I love the RotoQL content. So just to answer that question a little bit more in depth, Cody, I used to, when I started playing, that was the first system that I really was heavily into when I started looking at projections. And what I would describe about the RotoQL system that's different, it's a much more aggressive system. They're willing to take stronger stands that other sites aren't willing to take, where they're willing to, some player who might rate as a 7x on one site, they might have them at 9x. I'm going to get a couple of examples today, which, I don't want to give away everything behind the paywall, but I do want to give away a few things because there is some really, really interesting differences usually we can find between RotoQL and some other sites. And I tend to agree that's when everything comes together, when I tend to agree. So they've got Rondo doing well, but they have him a little bit less. Oh, I'm on FanDuel. Yeah, they still have him very high. Pretty much just a little bit less than some of the other projection systems. And again, I'm comparing them to every projection system. So just looking at it from a point per dollar standpoint, some of the guys who stand out more so on RotoQL than on other sites today, Avery Bradley would be the number one different. I don't know where I stand in terms of regular DFS because it feels like a limited ceiling, but I think at 3,300, showing at really, really good value over here is an interesting play. They're also very high on Danny Green, Kyle Kuzma, Schroeder, higher on Draymond than other sites. It's a much more aggressive system, so it is very helpful for DFS, especially GPP players like myself. You might lose more often than you win, but the nights you win are going to crush the nights you lose. And my first week with BetQL last week, when I first started using the RotoQL system again, what happens? Boom. One night, 90K win. Just great stuff. So yes, it does help with DFS to answer your question. I know it's a long answer, but that's the truth. Guys, again, can you fade AD, Oscar? I will have a tiny bit less than the field, but that probably means 65 or 70%. So mostly you want to have AD in your lineups tonight, in my opinion, because you need to spend that money somewhere. You got some value out there on the field. That's where you're at. I'm going to mention a few other trends we've got here tonight. The Kings are 12-18 straight up on the road this season, but they're 18-12 against the spread. So you flip that number. So an interesting against the spread play. They've actually been good and competitive on the road, but they just haven't pulled the games out, which makes a lot of sense for a young team like the Kings. So it seems like a good spot to attack them with a 7.5 point difference against the Thunder. The worrisome part is where you can gain edge right now is betting the Thunder because we still have Fox as questionable. If we knew Fox is in, I sort of like the Kings to possibly cover. But if we know Fox is out, I think the Thunder are an excellent minus 7.5. So that's the only thing getting in the way of what's a really good little trend there. The Kings have been pretty good on the road, basically, compared to what you think of them. They've actually played pretty good basketball on the road all season long. Another one, the Blazers are just 10-24 against the spread with teams averaging more than 23 assists per game. The Pacers average 26. They're fifth in the NBA. That's an interesting point, and I'll tell you the reason why. The Blazers don't move well. They don't rotate well, and it comes down to a good one-on-one individual defender and a good help side defender, but who really has no range and doesn't do well with teams that move the ball, is a guy like Hassan Whiteside. So that's why teams that move the ball destroy them because they just don't move laterally well enough. Plus, Dame uses all his energy on offense. Now, I know he's not happening, but then you have CJ doing all that tonight. So basically, long story short is I would bet on, I think the over in that game, I would like it if I wasn't so afraid of a blowout. I don't usually like the over in blowouts, but I do think that in basketball, I do think the Pacers are they're the team I would take at the minus 10. And I love that information from BetQL. Just one of the interesting trends that it tells us. I gave you the other interesting one. Some of these seem kind of random, and some of them are out there. But this is an interesting one with the Knicks. So basically, the Knicks have been extremely competitive. Vegas has given the Knicks far too little credit. I think tonight they might be giving them a little too much. But in general, it's just an interesting thing to know going forward. Deep teams like the Knicks, even though they're bad, They're deep, so they're not going to, have to be. They're going to be competitive in games, which means they might lose by 12, but they might have been a 15-point underdog because they're so bad record-wise. They're probably not as bad in real life just because of how deep they are, and they can always throw fresh bodies out there. Let's see, a couple thoughts on Dort tonight for GPPs. Absolutely not. I think that would be a horrible mistake. I cannot play a guy like Dort when there's this much other value and potential value on the slate. I wouldn't have played him on other ones. The only thing I would say about it, why it makes sense, is you're going to get minutes from a position that you don't. So so I shouldn't say no right away. It's not where I'm going, but I certainly understand if you want to go that route, just because he's a guy who'll be completely overlooked at a minimum price as a pivot off one of these other minimum cost guys. Guys, don't forget, while you're here, please give us the thumbs up. We really appreciate it. It means a lot to us, and want to make sure that we keep this stuff going. We're bringing the free shows to you guys. This is all we ask. The thumbs up, and really appreciate it. Oscar says 80 scares him. One bad bump and he's headed to the locker room. Yeah, you can't worry about stuff like that when you're playing tournaments. If you ever do, you can't worry about it at all. Brayson says he's going to scare you when he goes for 70. I think he's right about that. CP3 in your lineups right now. Eric, I like CP3 better on FanDuel by far than DraftKings. I prefer Shea on DraftKings, and I prefer him on FanDuel. That's sort of where I'm at. Let's see. We've got the how many Knicks are too many outside of Randall? I think any more than one or two other than Randall is too many. I don't see a reason to get crazy with Knicks in addition to Randall. I don't see a reason to play more than one Knick necessarily. It's not like they're in a good spot at all. So let's not get crazy with the Knicks tonight, unless we hear about somebody being out or something. Oscar, wait. Okay, Oscar says, can I say hi to his girl Rosie? She's trying to join the DFS ride. Ask her to allow me to join BetQL. Can't win if you don't play, right? That's pretty funny. All right. Hi, Rosie. Welcome. If you're out there watching, hi from Oscar. Anyway, guys, really appreciate all the questions and thoughts. Going to get back to a few other news and notes from tonight. The 76ers are, I want to point out that, it's a 2-star on the Sixers covering. It's a 3-star money line bet, and the under is a 3-star bet in this game. And I would sort of agree with the under in this Sixers Knicks, but I don't feel great enough to where I would call it, it's not a 3-star for me, but this is what BetQL is saying. Again, listen to them above me. It's not the bet that I'm making, but I certainly understand where they're coming from. And if I had to pick one or the other, I absolutely would bet the Sixers Knicks under, and I would be betting on the Sixers to win that game by more than 6.5. Sixers basically must-win mentality. Yeah, absolutely. Dan's got it right. Nailed it. Absolutely, Dan. I don't know who Juan, get that question in again. I don't know who Horror or Gore is. I'm trying to understand who that is. Horford. Is that who he's asking about, Horford? I guess I want to be less than the field because he's going to be so popular. But he's in half of my lineups on FanDuel at the moment. That's where we're at so far with Horford. Again, guys, like and thumbs up. I heard it worked last time, so I'm going to have to keep doing it. So make sure to get it out there. A couple other things we want to get to. I showed you already and just wanted to reiterate, because in case we have new people tuning in, you get the public betting, the money line, all the stuff. I love the sharp picks, the public betting, the best bets that we've got here, and then sort of the detailed analysis that I really can't give you guys, and I really wish I could, because it's really good stuff, and it's helped me get back into straight sports betting, which I think has helped my DFS game, and I think playing DFS helps straight sports betting. So that's where it is. Favorite game stack of the night, Eric? It's on FanDuel. It's OKC and it's the OKC and Kings. But on DraftKings, you can stack and pray with the Pacers and Blazers. I just don't want to do that. So I guess it would be the Warriors, Lakers, hoping for some late news information where maybe you can make a pivot here and there. Maybe Caruso gets a start over Rondo. Maybe we can play Caruso at lower ownership. Just kind of an interesting way. Or maybe you just take a shot and play them anyway if your lineups aren't doing well at the beginning. But I do sort of like the Lakers-Warriors stack, even though the spread worries you and everything. It just feels like it's hard to play the Warriors guys, but I think you would play Draymond with a number of maybe 3 or 4 Lakers even tonight. Not too many pay-up options. How much salary would I leave on DK and FanDuel? Joe, that's an excellent question. I think I made a bold call that I think that somebody could win a tournament tonight on FanDuel leading up to 1,000. It's not the way that I build in general. I've got a few other things that I like, so I'm actually not leaving a ton on the table, but I think 400 to 700 is probably a range I'd be really comfortable with. On DraftKings, I feel like 400 to 600 probably, depending on what kind of build you're doing. But mostly I'm in the 200 to 300 range. You could go a little higher, but that's just sort of where I'm at. Maybe go even up to 1,000 on both sites is the right answer for large field GPPs. For smaller field GPPs, I think you're still giving up a little bit of equity if you're giving more than 700 or 800. But for big GPPs, you could definitely leave 1,000 because I just think it makes plenty of sense. Let's see. Larry Cheely wants to know would you do one group for the Lakers like two of the other guys besides AD? Yeah, absolutely. I like Kuzma. I like Rondo. Obviously, we talked about. Rondo's obvious, but I'm going to try to be less than the field. I like Caruso as a long shot pivot. I like KCP as a long shot pivot. I like RotoQL likes Avery Bradley as a long shot. I would have to have 4 players from the other side probably, or I don't know what you're like. It's just a little bit too thin for me on this particular slate. If Danilo was out or something, then you could do it, but not on this slate for me personally. But 2 of them, yes. I think 2 is your sweet spot there. 1 would be ideal. 2 a sweet spot for a game stack, I should say. Another thing I wanted to point out to you guys, you can get the RotoQL app and the BetQL app for free. It's awesome. Like, one thing is you can look at it and it literally from the RotoQL side of it, like, the RotoQL app is awesome, and it's one of the things I can fully endorse as being one of the best parts of RotoQL right now. It'll help you make your lineups in 2 seconds, and it's just a great tool. So I would check that out if I were you guys. The BetQL app, also awesome. Again, these are free, so go ahead and do it while it's free. Also, the XFL content on BetQL is free. Check this stuff out. See what you think about it. Ask me some questions. Get that dynamic going. Let's get out there and at least check this stuff out. I know a lot of us are stuck in our ways, and I hear so often from people, God, I just can't win. Well, what have you done to change your game? Oh, nothing. I just used the Fantasy Crunch or this, or I just used the RotoGraph. No, well, check out everything. Inspect everything. This is another tool that you guys haven't been using, so if you haven't used it, make sure you check it out. Am I shaky on Shake Milton? Yes, I am. Shaky on Shake Milton, K9 Bronco. That's the best way to describe it. I would describe Shake Milton as a 37 minutes last night has me worried, makes me almost want to play Alec Burks in tournaments a little bit. Not too much, just in like a long shot tournament here and there. Kind of interesting. Milton on FanDuel is a little bit better of a play over there, but you really don't need to. It's somewhere between Milton, Chris Paul, Malcolm Brogdon, and Rajon Rondo is where you're probably going at point guard on FanDuel. And I don't see a reason to get too creative outside of that until we hear De'Aaron Fox news. Hit the like button on the show hit the like button, free content, come on. We're giving you free content, just all we're asking for the likes. I'm not going to say if we get up to this many, this is going to happen, but we just know we appreciate it, and we appreciate you guys really for tuning in and being at the start of something that's going to be lasting for a long time here at QL TV, and hopefully we'll have a long, successful future together. We're already having one. You guys are welcome to join us. All you have to do is go to betql.co, enter the code BobbyFi in there to get 30% off your first month. It's just the thing you need to be doing. All right, you guys, get some more QQs in. We've got about 3 minutes to go, so get QQs in there. I'm going to answer some final questions. I'm going to point out a couple other trends that I thought were interesting, but make sure that you get some questions in because I want to end this show answering what you guys' thoughts are, both from a straight sports betting perspective, a BetQL perspective, a RotoQL perspective, and then just DFS in general if you want to go that route. So, again, we saw the Knicks free information today, the free thing today. Like, we have the information. We like the Knicks. It's not overwhelming love for the Knicks. Again, you have your projected starters here. Just be wary that this could always change. And Glenn Robinson III, is a guy who you don't really want for DFS usually. If maybe he gets more minutes because he didn't get minutes last night. Same thing with Burks. Just kind of something to think about. But overall, nothing too crazy to go over in the that we haven't already touched on in this game. You can see pretty much across the board 6.5. And the money is right now going on the Sixers, and I'm in agreement. RotoQL's in agreement. BetQL's in agreement. I'm sure RotoQL's in agreement too because they're a part of the same company. But anyway, we're all in agreement. Sixers minus 6.5. That's your bet. Last night, I gave you my free bet, which was basically just take the Clippers and take the under, and that nailed it. So if you made that bet, you would have doubled up your. Actually, you would have tripled, quadrupled, depending on how you parlayed it or did it. But it was a good one. Eric Johnson, I am fading a little bit of Rondo to answer your question. I have less than the field, but I still have him. Thoughts on Chris and DK tournament? Not for me. Fine if you want to go there. Just absolutely not something I'm doing. But I totally get it, and I think that I've heard some people mention it that I respect. I think he's interesting, but not for me. Thoughts on Mitchell Robinson? I think he's an awesome GPP play, but I wouldn't have high expectations. I would have moderate expectations. I'm still hoping that there's maybe some news, like maybe we get a Taj Gibson is out or something. It's a back-to-back for them. We don't need to play these old guys. They don't need to win. So maybe if something like that happens, he becomes an even better play. But I do think he's interesting anyway. Anyway, we're pretty much wrapping up, guys. It's pretty much all the questions. Looks like we got through there. Do I like Bazemore? He's not for me. I get it, but it's not for me tonight. I might end up in a lineup or two, but it'll be a small stakes tournament for me. Again, guys, couldn't appreciate you more. We appreciate you. I'm going to leave the chat open for a little bit even after I end the stream so I can answer some questions in there. But we really appreciate you guys tuning in. And remember, make sure you're subscribing to QL TV, and we will talk to you soon. Later, guys.